As I'm laughing at this.
I sent him into the future.
We are going to talk about Terminator Dark Fate.
Yes, the one where Alexa took over.
By the way,
world.
did you see the how it should have ended website for how Terminator Dark Fate should have ended? Yeah.
No, I
Came
didn't.
out over the weekend. It's pretty good. Yeah.
No, not yet. I'm going to check that out.
So, Terminator Dark Fate came out this past year. It is a sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, rather than being the 6th technical Terminator, 7th?
Yeah, Sarcona Chronicle.
8th if you include the television show, something like that. So back with us, we have Linda Hamilton reprising her role as Sarah Connor in a very large role here. Arnold is back. Mackenzie Davis playing Grace, and Natalia Reyes playing Danny Ramos, and Gabrielle Luna playing Gabrielle. Wow, I didn't even realize that. The Rev 9, the new
Right.
Terminator. So we've got a big main cast here. And Mike, you went into a nice little screed about this a couple months ago.
My rage rant, yeah.
Your rage rant when this came out. Now, the director here is Tim Miller.
Of Deadpool fame.
Tim Miller, yeah, of Deadpool fame. And did some work on Love and Robots, one of the shows I talked about before. Writers on this movie, James Cameron and Charles H. Egley. I'm not even sure. And 8 more credits. Holy crap. There's a lot of writers on this movie. I really don't know how that
Did it have the writer of that movie we recently saw? That guy.
Yeah, that one.
That
one. David Goyer. We know that
David
name.
Goyer.
Of DC fame.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, he wrote Batman Begins. And The Dark Knight, as well as BVS.
Yeah,
Dark
he's
City.
he's huge in the DC world, but
Okay.
did it have Chris Terrio?
No Chris Terrio on it.
Thank goodness.
Right. So a lot of writers, James Cameron. We generally trust James Cameron.
You know the saying that too many cooks spoil the soup, right?
Man, was this soup? Holy shit.
Yeah, you wonder with Hollywood who's the who does punch up, who does rewrites, who does original story. It gets a little confusing sometimes, so it's hard when they have this large of a group to say, oh, it definitely was this guy was the problem.
So I have questions for you guys, but go ahead with your overall thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, I'm going to let James go first on his overall thoughts.
Oh, man. So I kind of knew. I mean, Mike gave me the spoiled-filled rant. So I knew where the movie was going from.
Well, you guys told me you were never going to watch it, so...
Yeah, you're right. Thanks to modern day technology, I was able to sit in the luxury of my home on a late Saturday night and watch it. And I have to say, this movie was as bad as advertised. I don't even want to waste mental effort in trying to digest why it was terrible. I just think that the Terminator franchise has lost any sort of connection or continuity with the original Terminator movie and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, to the point where now you're bringing back characters for the sake of just trying to get people in box office seats, and the plot doesn't matter anymore. I could, for 15 minutes, I could sit here and tell you what was terrible about every single plot device in this movie. From what was abstract with some of the hidden messages here about the women empowerment, to what was blatantly obviously in your face, like the terrible science of time traveling and these loopholes and the weapons that they use, the EMP generators. It doesn't make any sense. Linda Hamilton, to me, I just felt terrible watching her having to get this paycheck in this movie, with a terrible, like a watered down version of her character from Terminator 2. Arnold, at this point, we know what Arnold's about. He's out there. He's getting his paychecks and royalties from everyone. He doesn't really care. He could play Carl the Drape guy in one scene. He can play, it doesn't matter to him. and I don't think these executives care anymore.
Yeah.
They're gonna at least make enough to cover the movie marketing and keep the franchise going. I think if they don't release a certain amount of Terminators per year, then the franchise must go back to someone else, some other corporation, like how Marvel had to at one point push out Spider-Man movies because they didn't want to lose the rights. Sony didn't want to lose the rights to Spider-Man.
Well, the original Terminator was produced by Mario Casar.
No, I did not
right?
know that.
Yeah. So, and Mario Casar is famous for like American Ninja and all those.
Yeah.
Remember the great action
Yes.
movies in the '80s, right?
Great.
So
yeah.
I wonder if that's the case. He gets the rights back if they don't do something.
Honestly, there's
Who
absolutely
knows?
nothing about this movie that I can say was a good, other than seeing Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger on screen one last time. Just for me, I don't know what a young 20-something-year-old person going to see this movie was going to get out of that. But just for me to say, oh wow, I remember when they did a great movie together, and here they are again on screen. Neither of them have aged well, and okay, there's that. Thank you very much. And that was it, dude. Special effects look worse than Terminator Genesis.
Can they fix jumping in CGI? It seems to be
I've
the
seen
worst
my son's
thing.
video games in Fortnite look better, the jumping sequences, than what I saw at Gabriel Luna. And I felt upset. Gabriel Luna, who to me was probably the best version of Ghost Rider in the Marvel TV shows and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is a good actor.
Yeah.
And here he is doing this trash role. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, how much did they pay you to do this role?
You know what though? I liked his T-1000 better than Robert Patrick. I think
You like concept. The concept
Yeah.
of his T-1000.
No, well, I liked how he was tried to blend in better with the humans when he was trying to find them. You know what I mean? Like the way he changed his accents and changed his lingo, like with the different cops and stuff. I thought that was okay.
Yeah. So there's two places to go. We can talk about this movie individually, and also talk about the reboots that have come recently and are still on the way. So first about this movie individually. This movie had some interesting concepts within it, and it didn't seem to feel like it really wanted to tackle any of them. So you have this interesting concept of Arnold Schwarzenegger, or the T-800, that he actually completed his mission. One of the first scenes is him shooting John Connor, which, I laughed.
He shot John Connor. Yeah, he kills John Connor.
And then he just kind of walks off. Yeah, so it comes around that you see Sarah Connor has now been taking out Terminators as they land. She's getting hidden messages, secret messages that tell her where they're going to land. And you find out that it was the T-800 who had completed his mission, and it turns out that he becomes Carl, the drapes guy, and raises a family somehow, and has learned, and basically feels like has remorse.
Just pause right there, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I get, if you're telling me the artificial intelligence in the original T-800 has expanded and grown insight as far as a computer software binary, I get that. Now he's lived 20 extra years and he's able to make self-aware decisions. But the fact that you're telling me it also created the sense of life and a sense of right and wrong, why couldn't Skynet have that same sense? Skynet was around longer than all these machines. Skynet did develop a sense of humanity. Why is this one particular Terminator?
Because Skynet could never complete its mission. So what they're saying is he completed his mission. He no longer had a mission. And so the computer set about to learn. I don't know. Like I said, it's an interesting concept, but it doesn't go anywhere with this.
But the thing is, I can get behind that Carl needed to blend in with society because his mission was done. I can't buy the fact that all of a sudden
he's doing these missions and he has regret for killing. That was his mission. Why do you have regret?
For John.
Right. Yeah.
For John.
Because if you're questioning that mission, then you're questioning your whole reason of existing, which means you should terminate yourself.
Yeah,
It's just basic philosophy. For those of
but
us who took philosophy in
but
college,
he can't self terminate.
but see, this is where you go, okay, this is an interesting movie right here. You don't need anything else. You say, hey, Linda Hamilton's going around killing Terminators, John's dead, and you find out that Arnold is the Terminator that's sending her the stuff because after he completed his mission, he jacked into some new AI system that gave him more learning and more emotional ability or something. You give it a reason that he starts to get some level of regret or something like that. So you make that the movie. That's an interesting continuation of what we previously saw. Or, and here's this movie, you have an entire second thing, which is, hey, let's just replay Terminator 2. But this time, we have a Terminator that splits into two, and we have, instead of a human or a robot, we have an enhanced human protector. That's an interesting action movie.
no, it's even more than that because you have an entirely different Skynet now. You have an entirely different future. You have entirely different everything. But this T-800 still exists. And
Right.
Yeah, so that's one of the questions I was going to ask you guys after your thoughts on
It's
it.
not-
Like, I had a couple questions for you guys. So.
and that's where I don't think that worked, because you're like, okay, they just give lip service to Legion, which is the new version of Skynet, which does the exact same things that Skynet did, which is why Linda Hamilton gets the assholes, they just did it again. Like, of course they're gonna do it again.
yeah, and I was like,
They didn't
so did the
learn.
writers of this movie, Linda.
Right. Right. She could have been talking about Cameron.
She went full meta on us.
Right.
That's right.
But
breaking the fourth wall there, like Deadpool.
by itself, a cool enhanced human protecting the next savior of humanity, who's not John Connor anymore because it's a different future, against a cool cyborg, T800, T1000 hybrid, each one not as strong, but it does cool different things. That's just a cool action movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like it had to do, what did Paige call it? I forget how. Paige was pissed when she was started watching.
The whole
it.
women empowerment
Yeah.
part of it too. So I had said there's flaws in this movie, both on the physical level, the CGI, the story, the plot, but also on the abstract level, the messages that we're trying to beat in my head with about the fact that it was basically all female lineup with. And I remember when we discussing about the trailer, what I saw and what I wasn't happy with. I was so right.
But
Like-
what I'm gonna say is this is from the mind of James Cameron, what he thinks women empowerment is, and I think that's where the problem is. Like, we've seen a Wonder Woman that gives us a better view of not a similar story, but a main female protagonist in the quote unquote world of men, and how she takes care of her business and learns new things and teaches other people things, blah blah blah. And it's not this. This is the James Cameron problem, where he assumes. Do you guys remember? It had to have been a couple of months ago, beginning of last year, where he was talking about. He was putting down Wonder Woman, I think specifically.
Article queued up. As soon as you met, I already got the article queued up. 2017.
Right.
James Cameron calls Wonder Woman a step backwards for female protagonist.
Wow, 2017.
That's your
Cool.
guy. Well, not your guy, but that's your guy.
Right. And remember, he said, I've created women protagonists that are real empowerment. This is his idea of what that is. And you can see it's this kind of facial, I'll say this shit out loud, I'll swear a lot, I'll shoot people, we'll fight. These are just almost dude characters.
Right, with boobs.
Right. Danny, what makes Danny different than the last savior of humanity?
Dude,
Nothing.
she physically looks like a man. Let's be honest. There's many times when I saw
Well-
her in that prison sequence where I couldn't just. Yeah.
Who?
Oh,
Dan?
sorry, not Danny. Grace.
No.
Sorry, Grace. Who was
Grace.
Grace, yeah.
She was the
Grace
other
is
female
very,
protagonist. Not
yeah.
Danny.
Right.
I'm like,
Mackenzie
Yeah,
Davis is a
Mackenzie
good
Davis.
actor.
I'm like-
she does some cool. She has
Oh,
some
she's
cool-
great. She's fantastic. Have you ever seen that AMC show she was on. You know what I'm talking about? That took place in the '80s with the rise of the
Right?
computer
No, I
companies.
don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh! Let me.
Anyway,
But anyway,
Yeah,
she does the.
go ahead.
I'll just say she does the physical parts really well. Her action was top notch.
Oh yes, yeah. It's *Halt and Catch Fire*, by the way.
okay,
Great show on AMC that did
Never. Okay.
but
four
the point.
seasons. You know who else was in that? Lee Pace,
Oh yeah, Mr.
Mister.
Ronan the accuser.
Yeah,
Um, but
Ronan.
going
Yeah.
back to her character, her character to me, the fact that she was as masculine looking as she was, did not give me a sense of like you're trying to tell me this is supposed to be a very empowered female character. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting somebody.
See, I'd be careful there, because
Go ahead. No, let's say it.
women can look however the hell they want
No,
and be as.
women can. I know a lot of very. I work out with a lot of women who are very, very physique, who are actually bodybuilders. But that's not what I was getting from her character. I was getting the very erratic sense of she's frazzled, and I don't know whether it was written in her character or that was because of the actress and the role that she had to play to make it seem like she was strong on screen. That's what I was confused about. Like, tell me it's because of a
eh,
surgical procedure that she's like her brain is operating at like such a speed where she's frazzled on screen, or you're telling
oh
me
yeah,
she's such a aggressive character as a woman. She's acting the way that you thought maybe John Reese would have acted when he was in Terminator 1. That's what I was confused about.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, They also played Sarah Connor very aggressive as well. Um,
No. Hold on. Sarah Connor, Terminator 2, yes, she had some aggressive tendencies when she was escaping, when she was in combat mode. But when she was like in a situation of dialogue, other than the Miles Dyson scene, she was having intellectual conversations with her son, with John, with whomever. She seemed in
Hmm.
control of that situation, whereas this lady seemed erratic.
no, that I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying in this movie, Sarah Connor was played more aggressive
And I was sad
than
to
she
see that
was in
too.
Terminator 2. It didn't feel like her character had. And I understand that she's supposed to be coming from a place of sorrow and
And
anger,
sorrow and grief.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it.
right?
Yeah.
Grace's character is supposed to be. She's the way the ending happens is it seems, and her backstory, it seems like she. I don't know why they sent this kind of person back to save Danny, because we'll go into that in a minute. But I, it's like she was so obsessed with Danny, almost like a fan, that she treated everybody near Danny with she treated
Animus.
yeah, right. She
Animus.
treated
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton's character with like she was gonna kill her like 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is she's a ally. What are you doing? So, whatever the writing of her character, it's like they didn't give her any room to do anything but be
Which is
aggressive.
what I don't understand. To me, I'm like, are you trying to show me this is how what a good version of character of a strong heroine character is supposed to be? Is she because
See, I think
that's
that's the James Cameron to me. I don't.
like that I didn't like that. I did not like that at all.
Well, I mean, I thought Grace's character was fine. Fine in the sense, I thought the acting was good, the design was good, but the overall idea of the character, hey, let's create an enhanced human that basically has 30 minutes of action time against a Terminator, then dies, basically
Well, that's a whole other thing.
almost dead,
Yeah,
right? That whole design is kind of very weirdly flawed.
that's going back to story. I mean, I was just
Yeah.
attacking the character that is
Well,
portrayed.
it's the character design. It's how they built her, and so she comes back and she has to destroy everything super fast before she
She
said it
crooks.
multiple times about you have 10 minutes if you
Try
don't kill a
crooks.
Terminator in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, have you guys fought Terminators? Nobody kills a Terminator in the first 10 minutes.
You know what kills me? And this is not just this movie, but all when they always show you the future sequence. What did they show you? They show you the endoskeleton Terminator that are walking at like half a mile a second. and they're like
Mm-hmm.
they're swiveling on their hips and their red beady eyes and the gun and do 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 do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but then when the ones that get set back in the past are like the super 28 days later version of these Terminators that are running at 50 miles per hour. They're able to do all the poor video game CGI leaps and bounds.
Right.
And I'm
Well,
like,
maybe they can afford.
so how do we lose to these slow versions of these Terminators in the
They can only
future?
afford
But
one or
these
two.
faster ones, the faster ones are the
Right.
ones that are sitting back in
Yeah.
time, one at a time.
Yeah. It's the whole. I mean, the Terminator idea, and this. Unless Mike, you have something else to say.
No, go ahead.
So this is a part of a group of movies that have released reboots. So we had Rambo, Bad Boys. We have things like Avatar coming out. We had Men in Black this year. Indiana Jones 4, if we go back a couple of years. Alien has done all over the place. And so this is the style where they say, hey, not only do we want to introduce new characters and make them part of this story, but we're going to make sure we give a big chunk of the story to our old classic characters. And everybody's going to love to see Arnold again. Everybody's going to love to see Linda Hamilton again, but they're also going to get these young people, new characters that they're going to want to follow into the future. And it's like this very messy storytelling technique that doesn't seem to be working. And no, nothing's set in stone. I'm sure someone will figure it out. But so far, it doesn't seem to be working for me.
By the way, I have to counterpoint that with the latest Bad Boys 3 movie that came out and I saw this weekend.
Well, this is what I'm at. I haven't seen it yet, but
Go ahead.
did it have was the story almost half and half the old guard and the new
No,
characters?
I would say it's probably 3/4 the old guard, 1/4 the new characters. The new characters I mean, they were actual characters. It wasn't like guys you just saw on the sidelines. They had characters with quite a bit of dialogue and engagement in the main story. But you cannot tell me at any given moment when you saw Martin Lawrence or Will Smith, the story was really, they were central to the story. Like, yes, you can give me a couple scenes with some of the other, other new characters, whatever. I get it. They're in the movie. They've got roles, but it ultimately, this movie hinges on the success of whether you are engaged or interested in seeing Will Smith and Martin Lawrence again, playing the roles that they've done since 1995.
Right. So it's their movie, and you always have new characters every movie or whatever,
Correct.
but it's
Correct.
definitely their movie.
It was also clear that these other characters are going to be part of this universe if it continues. There's already been
Mhm.
four. That they're not going away. They weren't just one-offs.
Right.
It's clear in the final act that these guys are going to be part of this franchise, whatever it is. They're not going away. But again, you were still invested in the success of the main two characters within the story itself. I thought it was good only because of the strength of these particular actors themselves. Like it was the dichotomy of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I think he's still crazy because Martin Lawrence, the actor himself, has had some tough times in the late '90s, early
Mhm.
2000s, drugs, rehab, whatnot. He was out of the scene for quite a bit of time, and then his acting career basically was in the dumps. So this was kind of one of his, his comeback. So if you like the character in the '90s, you remember him, and now here he is. He looks every bit of his age. You could tell he's every bit of his age. And then you see him on screen again, you're like, oh, you kind of rooting for him, right? And then and my
Mhm.
daughter, who she told me before we went to go see the movie, I'm only here to see Will Smith. I'm like, oh crap. But when she left the movie, she was like, all right, Martin Lawrence, he was kind of MVP. He was kind of like, and it was good to see a 16-year-old who came to hear, the DJ Khaled music soundtrack and all the young trappings, that would get the younger and newer audience. And obviously Vanessa Hudgens. There's a couple characters from Riverdale. So the side characters are all characters that you would know if you were, an older teenager. But she said Will Smith was, the draw for her to actually go to the movie theater and spend money and watch this movie.
Will Smith has managed to kind of consistently stay in the public conscious. And obviously, Aladdin was a hit and
Yeah, and
reconnected
the only
him.
the only reason why I'm just to kind of close my point on this is it depends on who is the characters that you're trying to revitalize, and it's either you call it a reboot or whatever the word that you said earlier. Who are they? Who are the characters? The actors that are playing these characters, and whether you have a story that can involve these guys without making it seem like a fan service or a big nostalgic piece, or
Well,
not.
we've got two movies that are coming up this year that are the opposite ends of this spectrum. Uh, see, so like Terminator really tries to toe both lines and give you both, and I think it falters for it because it has no identity. But you've got
Agreed.
Top Gun coming up, which is Tom Cruise. He's the lead. Yes, you're going to have some young folks, and he's got to teach them, and blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
it's a Tom Cruise movie. You have
So
no
far,
question about it.
that's a check on the my analogy of the Bad Boys because you got Will Smith. All right, so in this case, you have Tom Cruise. So that's a check. You've got an actor who's bona fide, who you're
Hmm.
yeah, he's gonna
Hmm.
draw you. That's check so far.
The draw.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then the opposite of that is the new Ghostbusters.
Hmm.
So the way they're, as long as it stays the way they're advertising it, is this is in the universe. They're related, but this is a new set of people doing a thing
Mm,
within that universe. And now
mm,
my kid, who's a big Stranger Things
mm-hmm,
fan, this is the movie that's exciting her because she doesn't see Dan Aykroyd. She wouldn't give a shit about Dan Aykroyd if he was on screen,
mm-hmm,
right? Um, she Venkman doesn't mean anything to
mm-hmm,
her, but she sees Finn Wolfhard, a cool car, and some
mm-hmm.
ghosts, and a little and
Okay, so
mystery.
here's where I'm gonna
So
put an X in this category is because if you take out the whole if you take out the main actors or characters from the original and you're giving me a reboot of this, that means you're giving me something that is status quo with everything else that Hollywood's given us. You just mentioned Stranger Things, right? What made Stranger Things such a hip show? It gave you an 80s version of like a Ghostbusters feel with new, younger characters, right? And a new creative idea. You had kids who were playing Dungeons and Dragons who fell into an actual story that would revolve around Dungeons and Dragons, and then from there, you follow the characters. You can't give me a Ghostbusters, I put it in quotes, movie with younger, fresher characters and not tie
With
with
no
no Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters.
from the original. You're telling me now you're giving me a show that's going to compete against the other popular that are already out there, such as Stranger Things, such as anything on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu. That means you're going to get some people in the seats, some box office, but it's going to be a flop because you're not going to get the larger audience.
see, I have the opposite effect. I think you're using the name power, so you're gonna get not go Ghostbusters isn't Star Wars. It doesn't have people who go to the movies or because Ghostbusters is on the thing, but people know the name. And but you're using fresh faces and a new story that's going to bring younger kids in there. So you're not trying to
You
do.
say people know their name. You think younger kids know the
No,
Ghostbusters
but
name
they
like
know
that?
Finn Wolfhard. So you saw Martin Lawrence and blah, 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 what's his name, the genie, and you went, oh,
Yeah.
Bad Boys, yeah,
Did you really forget Will Smith's
yes,
name?
Will Smith. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you saw Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and Bad Boys, and you went, oh yeah, that I remember that. But your kid had no idea. They only they only know Will Smith. Whereas you got the opposite
Correct.
here. They know
And they
Finn
know
Wolfhard.
Vanessa Hudgens. They know the guy from Riverdale. They know the
Right.
other guy from the
So
other
now
show.
you do the
But here,
opposite idea.
here's where this plays against you. Here's where the opposite plays against you. You're calling it a Ghostbuster, so automatically people of a much older generation are going to say, "Oh, this is a continuation of the '80s and the early '90s." Younger
Right.
kids are like, "Wait, what? This is another reboot from that generation? I'm not interested. No thanks." Now, I bet you if I package the
They don't.
same movie with
I
these
think
young
you're putting
kids,
more thought into that than any other person actually puts
you know, you're
into
right.
their
We need to
movie
get one of these younger
choices.
kids of ours to come in one day and tell us why these reboots and continuations of the older franchises don't do as well when they don't bring in anybody connected with the original. And
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna ask my
guarantee you,
son.
I guarantee you
Well,
because I
they're bad
guarantee it's
movies. They're
because they
bad
feel like
movies,
this
though.
is not their thing, and they don't care about it because they can watch 13 Reasons Why, right? I watch it with my daughter, and I'm like, man, this is very depressing. Euphoria, I watch it with my daughter. Man, this is very depressing. Now, there's more adult shows that tackle the same topic about suicide and depression. But once they know it's connected to somebody that's an adult, they don't want to see that stuff.
No. So I'm gonna tell you, Jurassic World. Jurassic World connected to an old universe, but dropped all of the old people, brought in new hot actors, new kids, and
Right.
dinosaurs, and made bank.
Yeah, but
That's a
Killed
good
it.
point. But
but you blockbusters like Star Wars and Jurassic World, they're gonna succeed because of how giant they are to begin with.
No, Jurassic Park was a blockbuster. Everything after Jurassic Park was not a blockbuster. It's not like Jurassic, Park 2 and 3 were out there making waves
You know
and
why?
bringing in new
Chris Pratt.
people.
Chris Pratt, fresh
Right.
off Guardians of the
Brought in
Galaxy, fresh off
fresh new
MCU,
face.
who is not a young character. He's a much older character. He
Well,
brought
it doesn't
in,
matter. He's hot with the
yes,
kids. They
yeah,
love
but
Chris Pratt.
okay.
but he's also
Can I
hot with the
let me
adult.
jump in here for a second, guys? So here's the thing. This Ghostbusters coming up. We're talking about handing it off to the new, but most of the old cast is in this movie.
Well, that's one of my questions. Is the way they're not advertising it as such. They're not saying, "Hey, everybody, come see Dan Aykroyd revisit his role." They're
Right.
saying, "Hey, come see Finn Wolfhard and whoever
And
this girl is."
Paul Rudd is in it. They're advertising Paul
Oh,
Rudd
Paul
as
Rudd. People
People
love
love Paul
Paul
Rudd.
Rudd.
yeah.
Honestly,
And the man
But
doesn't
that movie
age. I
might
don't know
actually
why,
do well.
but he doesn't age.
that movie might actually do well. If you're telling me some of the older characters are in, Bill Murray still connects with the
I
old.
don't think it has nothing to do with Bill Murray. He is not a draw for younger audience.
No, but he's going to draw the
But
older
you
crowd.
need to
People are
Chris. What I'm trying to say, what Bad Boys did well is you got to get the right combination of people. You have to get the older characters who were there from the original who can draw the older generation, and then you need the fresh young blood who are there not just for a paycheck but actually are part of the story.
See, you can't tell me that because I was looking at Indiana Jones. That thing was
I
a
did not like Indiana
mess.
Jones.
But
I think that's Keith's
right,
thing. I didn't like Indiana Jones. But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
you
listening.
don't like Indiana Jones.
I didn't like
But
the last two movies. No.
oh wow, okay. But anyway, so it's
I love Last Crusade.
yeah, I
That
love
was a
Last
great
Crusade
I
movie.
did
too.
not.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think there is a single formula that wins. I think you can go one of those two directions. I think Terminator fell down by being one of those things that tried to have it both ways. I don't think you can split time between the younger generation and the old people and have it work. I think you need to pick one of the two. The Top Gun.
But it's not. I don't even think that was the case for Terminator. The problem is they killed Mackenzie at the end of the movie,
Yeah, that was weird.
but she's back as a kid. But at this point, I don't really care what happens in this future in that timeline.
Well, because
anymore.
it's a repeat. The story
Yeah.
itself is a repeat of 2 with just more messiness.
Like what I asked myself at the end is, are they going to try and make a sequel again where they try to stop Legion from happening? You know what I mean? Like they did in T2.
Yeah,
Like
just becomes silly, and we've seen those movies already. We've seen Genesis,
Yeah.
and we've seen Rise of the Machines and Salvation, and it's just like, yo,
Yeah, and that's the problem with this movie. Like, if Ghostbusters 3 is an original story, I can get behind it.
right? That's
You know what I mean?
what I'm hoping.
It's not just a rehash of Zool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Dark Fate is, I saw this movie in 1984.
Right, and it was better
So-
than.
Right.
But also, it's like, not to hammer on the Star Wars problem, but the Star Wars problem, I think, is they didn't want to move forward, and they didn't want to just make the old trilogy, the old people the stars. Like they tried to have it both ways, and it became messy. Yes, it's money making. Some of the movies were better than others, but it's still messy. And I think these other franchises that aren't Star Wars can't afford to have a messy story that doesn't bring people in.
Let me give you. Here's another weird thing that popped in my head. Because I'm still going back on the Bad Boys example, which maybe it's more of an exception to rule and not the norm, and I don't want to admit that yet. Like, look at Mad Max, for example. Mad Max came out, did extremely well, got a whole new fan base, and also the original fan base. But you can't really say they reused the Mel Gibson act. I mean, they used the
No,
same
it
character,
felt new.
but it wasn't
It
Mel
felt new.
Gibson in the role, right?
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And then you had Charlize Theron as a new the new co-protagonist. Like,
Right.
it felt new, but it still was in the
Mhm.
same universe with the character Mad Max. So
Well, and I think there's properties
It's
around.
kind of like what they do with Bond, right? When they
I think it
reboot
has.
Bond.
You know
Yeah,
what,
it
guys?
did feel
We're
like
It basically has to do with the story. You put together a good
Yeah.
story,
Mhm.
and you can decide to feature the old, feature brand new, do some sort of amalgamation of the two. But you gotta have the story, which Terminator failed to have in any one of these since T2. It never had a good story after T2. Star Wars,
Right.
in my opinion, never
Yeah.
had a good story, and it is after Force Awakens. And you could argue Force Awakens itself, but I enjoyed it, so I'm not gonna really harsh on Force Awakens.
Well, I think you can enjoy movies and know when they're messy,
Yeah,
when story wise,
actually,
like the Star Trek reboots.
yes,
You know.
yes. Although the Wrath
All
of
right.
Khan was a direct copy of the original Wrath
Right.
of Khan.
Well, exactly.
But
All right. So, guys.
I sent him into the future.
So we've talked about Dark Fate here, and I have a question for you. If you had to pick yourself to have an apocalypse and to survive that apocalypse, now I have a couple of options here for you to choose, and you got to tell me why. So we've got things like zombie outbreaks, I Am Legend, 28 Days Later, Zombieland. All right. So it doesn't matter if it's a virus that causes zombies or actual living dead.
Mhm.
Okay. Monster, alien, robot takeovers. We've got fun ones. We got Planet of the Apes, War of the Worlds, Terminator. I don't think that would be too much fun. Even The Matrix, Godzilla. These are good ones. Days of Future Past, if you're a superhero fan. Climate Apocalypse. We have Wall-E Future, Waterworld, Day After Tomorrow, The Colony, Snowpiercer. That's a fun one. Judge Dredd, Plague Virus, but non-zombie. Omega Man, The Happening. These are older. 12 Monkeys, Outbreaks. We have a Religious Evil, End of Days, Legion, Constantine. This is the end. And last but not least, General Societal Collapse. So Mad Max,
whatever, Mad Max.
Hunger Games.
Did you mention aliens?
He did, but he mixed it with alien
Okay.
robots. You could still have alien.
So
Okay.
so it'd be
Organic
an
alien.
alien or robot invasion, robot takeover,
Right. Okay.
monster. So I mixed it with the Godzillas and stuff like that. Which one do you think you could survive best? Maybe even enjoy a little. Are you a Soylent Green guy, a Blade Runner, Resident Evil, maybe?
I think for me, I think if it's fall of humanity without any sort of viral plague or zombie or supernatural or extraterrestrial, I'm more inclined to survive that. If it's just human, man versus man,
So
man
it's
versus
just
man.
society.
Yes.
We hate each
That's-
other. War. Okay, so it's usually considered like a nuclear.
Because you know thy enemy at that point. You don't need to be a brilliant neurologist to understand how to survive a plague. You don't need to have any supernatural powers for monsters and vampires. And as far as aliens or robots, there's no way humanity will survive that. So I'd rather go with
General Societal
man
Collapse.
versus man.
There you
Climate
go.
change is a tough one though, because climate change could also include like freaking meteors. I watch a lot of like How the Universe Works and stuff like that. That's another possible way of ending, our
Oh yeah,
civilization.
I have those on here. So you got
That one is tough
yeah.
too, because that one, although can result in man versus man, it's like climate change, and that's like
Yeah, but then you're cold all the time, and that sucks.
That's man versus
That
nature.
sucks.
Yeah, we're not gonna win.
we're not gonna win that. So yeah, I'll go with the fall of fall of human civilization as my most pleasurable form of apocalyptic ending.
All right, so we'll call you Escape from New York or Book of Eli.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you've got to choose your apocalypse.
So for me, I think I'm gonna go with like alien or robot invasion.
There you
The
go.
reason I
Okay.
say that is I think, or at least I hope, that if something like that were to happen, that humanity would come together as a whole.
Oh my God! Have you not watched every one of these damn movies where there's
Ooh.
V? We always have
I
scapegoats and
just watched.
turncoats, and
I just watched V the other day.
I know I saw that.
Yeah, that was great. But why? Yeah, no, that's my hope that, like in Independence Day, we all came together and we kicked the aliens' ass.
Yeah, okay.
But you doubt
You're
we
gonna be
would
the
do that.
first
You
one
think we would?
they send for food up there. Like, come on, humanity, let's
Right.
go team. Like, yeah,
Let's go.
he's got
team.
maple syrup.
I'm just.
He's got maple
All
syrup
right.
all over him. He's easier to digest.
No, I'm hoping I'm going to be the one giving the inspirational speech and getting us all out there. Like, today is our Independence Day.
You're John Connor? Oh, Mike is John
I'm
Connor.
Danny now.
If he survives
That's
his
right.
childhood.
I hear you. I'm not like. I mean, I'm poking fun at it, but I hear you. You think it's an easier chance on fighting an extraterrestrial threat than it is fighting humanity itself. Okay, buddy.
Yeah, because where does it end when you're fighting humanity? What do you think happens at the end? What's the resolution?
Yeah. So you think an
Yeah.
exterior threat is going to change things? It'll just make things even more complicated. You're going to have sides. You're going to have those who are going to think that the aliens or the Jesus come back to save them. You're going to have those who are going to side with aliens because they know that they want to be at the top of the human food pile. And then you're going to have us or you.
No, you know why we're going to win? Because Trump created a space force.
You know what?
End of
That's
story.
it. Drop the mic. We're ready. Come at us, aliens. Fight us.
That's right.
All right.
Have you seen the uniforms? They're camo, so the aliens can't see
Not at
them in
all.
space anyway.
The infrared scanners can't see us at all.
Engage cloaking device.
I had a
Mhm.
tough time with this one. As I was making the list, I was confused because I'm like, a religious evil. I feel like I would we'd all be dead. You really can't fight religious evil, right? There's no battling. It's always down to whoever the daughter of
Chosen one, yeah.
or the chosen one. So until the chosen one's found and fixes everything, everybody's spitting up worms or something. Shit and rats, whatever. Plague and virus? No, thank you, dude. Those are the worst.
Yeah,
because you're just if you're not a brilliant scientist, you're in a bed with boils,
Yeah.
right? Definitely not.
Mass suicides.
Climate apocalypse? I don't think I can do it. I think I can't deal with that much cold. It would definitely be endless winter.
I deal with that every day up here.
And it definitely wouldn't work. Zombies is an interesting one. I think I was kind of leaning at zombies because then you have a chance, but then I realized you'd be running a lot and I can't run. And I'd be dead really soon. And so I didn't go with zombies. The general societal collapse, I'm with Mike in that it's never ending, though it has some, you wear cool stuff. Everybody has, cool guns and bikes. So there's some
dry land is our
There's
destiny.
always pockets of refuge where the like-minded individual
pockets of
could build a
refuge.
camp.
That's
and,
right.
That's right. But
Nope.
if you get the wrong one, you could be Waterworld, and nobody wants to live on Waterworld. Or Mad Max, where you're a mutant. You're either a mutant in charge, or you're waiting for them to dump water on you.
Mm.
So, I think I'm gonna go with.
I don't know, man. I'm an engineer, so I'm gonna be.
See, there you go.
I'm vital.
You build yourself a tower. I'm gonna go with a monster invasion, but kind of the because Jurassic World, Terminator. I think I'm going with that style.
Monster invasion.
If Godzilla, I mean, Godzilla is only hitting one city at a time.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
If you're
You didn't
not
see the last
there,
Godzilla movie where there's like a bunch of those mutos that are going across the entire globe?
one was at a volcano. You know, one was.
There's the flying one
Eh.
that just sprays fire across
Doesn't
all of New York
affect me.
State.
Yeah, it was at the city. It really didn't reach up to me. They always invade the cities. I don't live in a city. I'm okay.
All right, so hold on, but you're thinking of large monsters. I'm thinking of like werewolves and.
No. See, those are the best because
Yeah.
werewolves and vampires.
There
you
you
have
go.
either the option of becoming a werewolf or vampire, which is cool.
Oh, so you just join their side.
You just
Okay.
join their side, man. You don't fight those guys. You know, you go. Hey guys, I'm with you. Suck my blood. I will go with you.
You get
This
to be
is
all
dope.
sparkly.
Look at all the leather you're wearing, the sunglasses at night. Oh, come on. This is like my right. This is your college. This is my college dream come true. Is a vampire and werewolf.
I don't know,
over.
man. You make one bad turn, you're out in sunlight, and you're donezo.
That's true, but
Not
Lycans
according to
versus vampire.
Twilight.
That's right. Which one? All right.
Any of them, you get to be sparkly vampire. Remember?
Oh my god.
That's right. And you play baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's our apocalypses. Good luck, guys. I hope you
I
survive.
joined the bad guys. That's basically your answer, man. You realize that? You just joined the bad guys.
Well, you know,
Hey, you know what? I'm going to change my answer too. I'm going to join the
I'm
aliens.
changing my answer too. I'm gonna be like the Negan of my version of the world. I'm leading a bunch of bad
There you
dudes.
go.
I'm doing
There
the
you go.
pillaging and all other stuff. I'm the bad guy.
Oh, you got to have the zombie on a chain, right? Who is that?
That was The Walking Dead. Michonne.
Oh, that
Michonne
was
in Walking
what's her
Dead.
name with the swords? Yeah,
Yeah, she had.
Michonne.
There you go.
I love Michonne.
Dude,
She's
you understand
fantastic.
as a monster, you're gonna be killing
Yeah.
the human survivors. You know that, right?
Well, see, I have this whole.
Well, he's got to eat. A vampire's got to eat,
See,
man. So.
humans actually become farm animals at that point, so you don't kill them all the time. You just kind of
just like in V.
you kind of bleed them a little bit and you let them go, and you just kind of do that.
Oh, that's like Legends. Well, not the Legends. What's the Anne Rice one?
Oh yeah, that's
with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
Interview with a Vampire
yeah.
series.
Yeah.
That's my jam, man.
Yeah.
That's my
I
jam.
read those books. I used to love those stories before Anne Rice went religious.
So yeah, I'll be a vampire, and Mike will be an alien, and
I'll be Negan.
James will come after us with his zombie pets.
I'm gonna be hunting you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a movie.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get power armor from the aliens.
Oh wait,
so
are you
yeah.
doing the Predator armor?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Super
One of
Predator.
those
I'll be
aliens.
Arnold. I'm over here.
Or Zentradi.
I'm here.
Dude, I'm gonna see it. You just keep popping sides. You go, oh Blade, you're killing everybody, dude. I'm with you.
No, not. You're a vampire. Stake through the heart.
Ah, man. All right. So that was fun. That was fun. All right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna end it tonight. Had a good time. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for.
Thank you for finally seeing that trash of a movie.
Now we have suffered with you,
Yeah.
Mike.
Thank you for whomever provided it.
Mhm.
All right, guys.
I can't wait for the sequel.
And part 7.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right.
Do music out. We don't have to wait for that stuff.